Alright, hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Alckemy. Today we are streaming a lot earlier than I usually do. Let me switch this over really quick. Okay. Dude, Alec, I created my first YouTube video yesterday. Was it a tutorial or was it just a video? Was good. Coffee's up. I woke up peculiarly earlier today. That's a mouthful. Yes, you are. On how to get the mid-loudness history graph WIT has. The mid-loudness history graph MB has. Hey Robert, how are you? Welcome to the channel. Please don't splash this all over my stuff. Boom. Now that's precision. Just look at the thumbnail. But if I click on this, it's not going to show me the thumbnail.
What's up? My name's Cameron, and I'm going to show you how to make a multi-band loudness history graph.
Did you do that on purpose?
So first things first, you're going to want to have a channel. And the second thing you're going to want to do is load up a frequency splitter on your channel, and you send to a high, mid, and now you're going to want to load a channel. And then also if you want
doubles. I was like, what utility the fuck?
On each of those sends.
Go to the last 4 seconds.
Here are the settings.
Oh, mids. Oh, this? Gotcha.
So
look at that hair though, man. That's some nice hair. Did you move? Are you in a are you in a different place? Wait. Hold on, I forgot to subscribe to you. Hopefully to a better place. Boom. Go subscribe to Seebeck, everybody. Actually, I think that Seebeck is criminally underrated. He's mostly a Twitch streamer. But he makes really good techno and stuff. And sometimes I never say hi. I'm sorry, I should more. But sometimes I pop in and I'm just like, oh, I wonder what Seebeck's up to. And I listen to what he's doing and stuff. And I like the music that he makes. So we're working on, hi everybody, we're working on a tutorial today. And today, whoever's here is going to get the stream version while I work on this stuff. But what's happening is I have 10 tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. 7, 8, 9. And then I'll have a 10th subtrack or something. But what I had intended on doing today was kind of just figuring out how to set up an IDM tune with simple concepts. So if you know how to make hip hop, then, or if you know how to make anything really as far as a loop, then like teaching the workflow of how to get into a mindset of stemming and then getting into how to break your stems. So I've got a pretty simple idea here with a couple of textures, but this is a very basic beat, but I'll show you all the elements to it. So this is just like the bare bones, so there's like nothing with this, right? And it's designed on purpose to kind of be as simple as possible, because really what you're doing is just starting with a few simple things, and then I do have some complicated things which I'll teach at some point how to do, but I've got these glitches that are kind of set up that was both made the same way as the soundscape. So if you see me do a sampler with multipass and then having some kind of filtering or some kind of pitch processing or something. That's pretty much how that goes. But this is what this sounds like. Just some texture, so nothing too crazy. And then I've got a neurobase here that you guys should probably be pretty well acquainted with, and I do want to talk about workflow approach into implementing this stuff in a less prominent way. So most of the time whenever I make like these kinds of basses, it's kind of in that mindset of like, oh, it needs to be so like upfront and thematic and stuff, but really it's just as easy to kind of high pass this stuff and just kind of use that as little hits and bits and textures. And then in certain cases you can cut everything else out that you have and let that be a sound design highlight. So with that all kind of coming together, we've pretty much got 10 tracks, and we can use all of this stuff in order to start creating more interesting ideas, I would say. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to collapse all this stuff and duplicate it, and then I'm not going to be talking much because there's going to be a lot more deliberation that's happening on here, as in I'm going to have to start putting stuff together. But if you guys have any questions on anything, then feel free to ask. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is take all this other stuff away, except for one. So like I made this loop or whatever, but that's really just for a concept. And then we've got a kick and a snare here as well. So what I'm going to focus on doing on this particular part is having something to keep tempo. So but now that we've got something like that, we're going to go ahead and drag in these glitches and stuff to, I'm going to shorten this up so that way it still remains a little bit clean. These glitches and stuff to try to find some interesting hits and bits, and really the only thing that we have to do is just start to kind of use some of this stuff, like maybe like a hit or so, kind of like this, and focus on rhythm. So we need to think about a phrase, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things to IDM. So we've got kick, space, 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 snare, right? So one of the easiest things that we can do is kind of like actually just beatbox. So like so taking that idea into account, we've got, and that's, you know, not that interesting and stuff, but what we can do is start to scrub through some of these things like that and see what happens. Okay. And then really from this point is kind of just getting into micro editing and having some fun with kind of just breaking stuff. I don't think that I meant to do that. Boom, boom, boom. Here. Same thing. I can kind of take phrases and stuff like this too. It's a little bit long, but okay, I'm actually going to highlight all of these because it's a little bit quiet now. I turned that down by quite a bit, but let's try that instead. Oops. And this might need like a little bit of distortion and stuff too, but that's okay. But from taking some of this stuff, we can kind of just really think about placement and rhythm. And if it's not enough, then it's not really that big of a deal. But you can always replace these or do stuff to the sound. But since we have the rhythm there, the rhythm placement I think is the most important thing. So. Oi. No. No. And I think like with this kind of stuff, part of the hardest part with all of the that's kind of cool. The hardest part with this stuff is really just having the patience to sit here and do this stuff. But I kind of find it therapeutic because I don't really have to think about making creative decisions in that way. I can kind of just do stuff like this. The micro edits. Yeah, it to me, like doing micro edits are pretty therapeutic of just being like, yeah, I don't really have to edit a lot of things, but yeah, exactly. You're kind of thinking about doing things in phrases as opposed to you're doing things in phrases as opposed to yeah, that's cool. Thinking about doing loops, and I think that's a lot more fun because it makes the conversations that you have within this stuff a lot more dynamic. So now that we've got something like that, we've got our 2-bar phrase or whatever, and we can kind of go back into these things and also create spaces here as well, which can be pretty fun and pretty interesting to do. And the cool thing about doing things in this way as well is that you can always create a sense of flow with this, because usually most of the time what you're doing is within all of this stuff you have the ability to kind of let something else play. So there's something that's always pushing the track forward. And it's actually something that I learned from this guy named Fracture a really long time ago when I first got into production. If you guys don't know who that is, I really highly suggest going to look at his music, because it's very glitchy, but it's also very melodic in a lot of ways, and it's very pretty a lot of times. He's got great taste in music, but this is something that he taught in one of his YouTube tutorials on how to do, and it's kind of stuck with me ever since. But it transitioned into this kind of music so well, so. Have you ever heard of Redux? No, I haven't. It's a creative sampler plugin. It allows for really cool stuff like this. I know of Redux and Ableton, but oh, it's a MIDI trigger, kind of like stutter edit. I'd rather do it by hand. I would rather do it by hand, and the reason why is because a lot of times, like, it's very pattern based. So like, I catch on to patterns like really quickly, and that's why I don't really use stutter edit or anything like that, because it just, I catch on to it really quick. So for me, I think that, like, it's not to say that it's bad by any means, because you can definitely use that as a starting point, but I find that, like, it makes me, for one, it makes me really lazy, because then I just, like, kind of want the program to do everything for me. But two, yeah, I just think that there's, like, just a certain quality of, like, doing it. It's not quite stutter really at all. Different beast, although stutter edit is cool. I think, and then also break tweaker, right? So there's also that as well. But kind of doing things in this way has been maybe the boomer way, but I just think that there's a quality aspect to it that makes it a lot more fun for me to do anyways, you know, of, how do I say this? So, like, I've got a weakness in music production where it's really hard for me to come up with things musically and harmonically. Hey EXO, welcome. And so the problem with, like, or so to, like, kind of mitigate that weakness, usually what I try to do is to bring up or make up for some of those things with texture. And if you can kind of find this middle ground in between, stutter edit is my fave, but finding this middle ground in between of, like, you know, instead of using that weakness as, like, something to hold me back, then I can just take really simple ideas but put a lot of love and a lot of work into it and really make these ideas come to life in that way. But one sampler I have been eyeing is that new Mimic sampler. I just don't want to buy Reason for it on top of buying Mimic. That seems like I could probably use my money better elsewhere. Welcome to the channel, EXO. We do a lot of this stuff here, a lot of neurobase, which I'll introduce here in a second. Yeah, if you have any questions about anything, feel free. I'm all about arranging stuff manually, don't get me wrong, but Redux allows for a cool, different approach. It somewhat emulates what possible back in the day old school samplers. Redux is a lot like that new Mimic sampler. Any whose samplers are sickly. I mean, if it's a manual slicer, or like if it's an automatic slicer, then that could be pretty cool. Which that might actually be something that I might check out. But if it's something that's like a pattern looper or something, that's not really what I'm in the market for. I'm going to take this little piece right here and maybe not that big of a piece, maybe like this big of a piece. Fit it right there. Thanks, man. Been on a tech binge recently, just getting into production. Guys like you help so much. Oh, you're new to production? Oh, welcome, dude. I remember when I first got into production like it was yesterday. Ooh. No, it's yeah, there's quite a bit to learn. What are you interested in producing? As long as you don't say country. Even if you even if you want to make country. There is hair in my mouth. That is gross. Okay. Yeah. Country rap, you're banned, Wiggles. Country breakcore, you're also banned, Seebeck. Wait, what? I like melodic, glitchy, cinematic type stuff. Right on. No, I'm just gonna be crafty with this. Hey Mark, how's it going? Neuro is amazing. It's fun, man, and I think that if you can learn how to do neuro bass, you can pretty much learn how to do Okay, where's that hat? Gold all in my hat. Hat! You guys know that song? It's fucking terrible. Hey NX. Cone Sound, Kwanzaa, Tipper, some of my faves. I used to be obsessed with Cone Sound. And then I started just trying to get into my own stuff. And from that point, it was kind of just a matter of like, how do I use that as a source of inspiration, as opposed to, you know, how do I make the Cohen sound bass. I'm doing alright. That looked like a big waveform. And so sometimes whenever you are doing glitch moments like this where you really want something to stand out, then usually you want to kind of like take, how do I say, this is the part where like you want to take away a lot of the other elements in order to kind of let specific things shine in this way. So right now I was listening and this little is kind of overpowering some of these glitch hits and stuff, and so to kind of help try to let that percussion shine, I'm kind of taking some of the other elements away, as you can see, and stuttering some of the other ones to kind of help emphasize that moment of rhythm. Okay, that's a little loud, but what I can also do is kind of just take this part right here and paste that and reverse that into that one. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Can't wait to hear more of your stuff. I've got music on YouTube. One other thing too is that when you do drills, you want to turn this down by quite a bit, because the amplitude is gonna make it seem like it's stacking, because it's gonna be so closely voiced together. And yeah, I'm kind of just jigsawing and creating. What? No, it should be -12. And something else that you can do that can be sometimes really fun is you can also play with panning and stuff. So I put all that over to the left, and that's why I like working within Bitwig, because I can just highlight all the samples that I want and put it there without having to like pan the entire track. So it actually saves me from doing automation, which I do not like. Automation. Hey, I finally catch a stream. Hi, Puny. What's going on? See, like even then, that's still kind of too loud. So what we can do is kind of give these just a little bit of a fade, and then turn that down. Yeah. And then we can also do like kind of cool stutters like that. can also grab this one, pitch that one up. But, I mean, yeah, this is pretty much the name of the game. Is kind of just doing stuff like this and having fun with it. Okay, and I like this right here, so we can use this again and kind of repurpose it. Lead that up into the next bar. So now that we've got how many bars is this? $186. 9 bars, something like that. I'm kind of lost where I'm supposed to be or whatever, but or on that forefront, but yeah, 9 bars. So instead, I would probably want to do it right there. Leave that in. Yeah, so now we've got ourselves a cool little 8-bar loop, and we can kind of use that to, you know, continue to do variations and stuff with if we want. So we can duplicate and variate, and I think that on the first one we'll probably just kind of let that go. And then we can kind of like just continue to elaborate on some of this stuff. To the right, pin that over to the left. Yo, Bitwig gang, what's up, Inrise? Welcome to the stream. Okay, so now we'll focus on picking up the percussion in this spot. It's not the toning I want. fellow culty ganger. Alright, so these are cool, but I'm going to see if I can make them a little shorter. And then we're going to try to balance some of that out with some of this stuff here. Okay, so this is kind of cool, but it's not really. Okay, that's a little better. Yeah, I don't like that phrase. So I think that the stuff that I made over here is cool, and I think that I could probably use this for other things, but I think what I'm going to do is probably just introduce another glitch rack that's more percussive focused. Or percussion focus. Oh wait, I want a drum rack. So with this in particular, I'm just going to kind of let this go for a bit. Okay. Doot doot doot. So when I actually make this tutorial, like, I'm not going to talk about any of the sound design that I've done in this, just because for some reason I think the sound, oh shit, sorry, I just died. Hold on one sec. I think the sound design is the most important part when it comes to this stuff. But for some reason, when I've got like a 35-minute video or something, it's like, no, it's too long. So if you guys have any questions about the sound design in this, then please feel free to ask. But when I actually make the YouTube video aspect of this, it's not going to be, it's not going to have any of that stuff. I think I've already got an arpeggiator that I like. Yes. So now I'm going to go ahead and solo this over here. Whoa. I think that will probably be fine. Okay, that's pretty much what I want that to do. So now we need to make it a little bit more interesting. And one of my favorite ways to do that is by automating a delay. So we'll just go in here, randomize this. And then I think what I'm going to do as well is we're going to randomize this kind of like so. We'll grab another one that is going to randomize this. This might be loud. There we go. So now really it's just the only thing that I'm really concerned about is like creating like circuitry. So I'm just gonna set this on here and set that to free. Just kind of let that mess around. Just double click anywhere on the black space. Oh, I didn't know that, but that's fine. I'm kind of just so used to it anyways, that there's that. But yeah, that's a tip that I didn't know. So if somebody asks, then I will definitely tell them. Okay. Let's pull a multi-pass, see what we can find. Oh, that's nothing. Okay. Fuck. Let's try a death bell. It's okay. It's not quite what I'm looking for yet. That's better. And then on this one, I think that I'm actually going to keep the mix at 100%. And then I'm going to randomize this one so that way it stays in time. Well, it's not going to be in time because it's still moving, but It might also help if I put this in front where it's supposed to be. That might also be helpful. So I'll bounce that out, but I think that I'll just drag this and kind of keep it on the same Foley thing, or same glitch rack as that, and then move that up to the recycling bin. And then one other trick that I try to make sure to do whenever I'm making music is that instead of deleting everything or doing like bounce and place, well, I do bounce and place and stuff, but instead of like committing to it, because you don't have to freeze and flatten, I just keep all of the tracks that I make for sound design and then turn them off. So that way, for whatever reason, if I need to come back to stuff or whatever, I can always do that. And that makes things a lot easier to kind of work with. So because I have that, what's going on here? What is going on here? Okay, we're fine. Yeah, I can come in and just start working pretty seamlessly. And then you can do like easy stuff like slice and place, 1/32. Grab all these. So then I can just place something right here and see how that fits in. Which is kind of cool. Maybe I can... cut that right there and place that on an actual grid. Oh man, come on. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what's up with my phone Wi-Fi today. It's not staying connected. Okay. I guess I could always... I keep forgetting that I also have access to operators, but... At least I should... But I think that like I usually end up doing this manually because I keep forgetting that I have to actually bounce this, because if it's a long audio chunk then it'll do that stuff, which is kind of annoying. Hey, Palm Tree Dan. How's it going? Hey, Talvin. How's it going? I'm doing all right. Just having some fun, making some tuna. It's actually going to be most likely a tutorial that I'm going to do, but I'm going to be teaching, well, you guys how to go from like this super simple beat to this. Into this part though. Been doing great. I have a weird question. I've been wondering if there are other ways to combine sounds aside from vocoding or multiband processing. Can you be more specific? Because the first thing that comes to mind is just layering, right? But I think that you're looking for something a little different, I want to say, maybe. So, but yeah, can you rephrase? Okay, I do like some of the stuff that's in there, but it's a little bit muddy in that aspect, so... kind of want to create like some harsh cuts as opposed to it just being... Strange looking thing. Warframe. Hey, Mr. Scotty, how's it going? If it says that I'm playing Warframe, I don't know. I use Restream, and like I always try to update it to what it's supposed to be or whatever. But if you take a look, it says on here that I'm doing music and art, but I don't know. There's nothing I can do about that. If you guys don't know Mr. Sketty, please do me a favor and go check out his channel on his Twitch. Really awesome dude from the UK. Very friendly. Has a really awesome community as well. They're like some of the friendliest people. Very open-minded and stuff. And I think that definitely think very highly of his place to hang. So go support his channel. I think that he's working on his second album right now. Are you almost done with that? Yeah, go check him out. Say hello. Tell him that I sent you. But be good to the community, and the community will be good to you. Oh, third album. That's dope. Oh, okay. You're talking about like morphing sounds together through vocoding. The first thing that comes to mind is just like spectrals. Ooh, I like the vibes on this. Nice stutters. Thanks, man. This is I'm just working on putting another tutorial together for how to create complicated music out of simple things, because this doesn't really have a lot to it, but we're starting from how to have like, I think there's only 10 tracks on this, if that many. Maybe 9 or 10, maybe 1 or 2 more, 1 or less, I don't know. But we're starting from this idea to getting into the more complicated stuff. And I kind of just wanted to bridge the idea of like how you can, if you ever get stuck in the 8-bar loop, or if you're wanting to figure out how to like evolve on a concept, then we can kind of use a lot of the tools here, which granted, like you have to have a little bit of proficiency with audio editing and stuff, but once you kind of have all the tools together and all that, like you can really like span out an idea and make it a lot longer than the initial, the initial simplicity. And so for me, like that's part of the reason why I like doing IDM, because I don't have to be like super elaborate in music theory and stuff. I can kind of just break audio and do all the cuts and glitches and morphing and stuff. And I haven't added the bass yet, but if you know how to make, this kind of stuff, wait, sorry, not that. I'll cover how to do that. Well, actually, I've got tutorials on that too, but more of this stuff. Right, then you kind of just combine, actually likes that phrase right there, you can combine a lot of that stuff into just creating the IDM glitch music out of that. And that's kind of what the goal of this is how to make IDM out of a song concept. Okay, so I do like that right there, but I think what I want to do is kind of have something like that, so that way oh, I took the wrong part. There we go. sounds funny. And then I think that oi, keyboard shortcuts. My lord. Okay. And maybe make that double. Let's grab all this stuff and just cut it off just a sec before. That way that should give that a cool. Well, the chord sequences is G flat major, F major, B minor, just to be absolute theory geek. Okay, so so this is what I did in order to like get this up and running, because there's no chord progression on this whatsoever. There's 3 musical elements that all have a single melody on them. Yeah, so there's simple melody right here. And then there's a single F note right here. And then another kind of like complementing melody right here. So yeah, no chord progressions. But my thing too is like, it's not even so much that I have trouble coming up with chords, but I find that when I do, like, it's so easy to get into that, like, what's the word? That 4-bar, 4-chord, you know, like typical thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just find it to be, for me personally, I find it to be cheesy, and it doesn't really fit the aesthetic that I go for, because I'm kind of like a haunty, moody, edgy type of producer. I don't know if you've heard the music that I've put out recently, but it's non-musical whatsoever. It's really just like texture and wrath. I love the reverb on that piano. Thanks. ROM, man. ROM is the way. ROM is bae. But yeah, so like when I do add musical things, like it has to have that kind of, it needs to have a darkness to it. It needs to have something that's more, this is counterintuitive to say, and I don't even think that it's accurate, but more emotional than, like, you know, da 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 da, you know, happy poppy stuff. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that music. It just doesn't fit the aesthetic that I have, and that's just kind of not my thing. But yeah, so I tend to go for like moods and stuff now. Like if anything, instead of, I'll show you some of this stuff. You know what I'm talking about though, right? I have a feeling that you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, like I just make soundscapes now, and I think that's kind of like, I go for texture over melody. And even though I don't think that it's like always nearly as effective, making stuff like this, not that, that's, hold on, it's going to take a second because Bitwig always takes a minute to not do that, but just stuff like this. Yeah, like that stuff puts a smile on my face. I guess I love dungeons. Yeah, I've recently done a soundscape thing, and I learned a lot. I had to step out of musicality mode and always lean towards. It was a great learning experience. Yeah, and I think that like it puts it in a different mindset. Like I think the last stream that I tuned into, you were talking about like storytelling and stuff, and I think something that's cool that you're able to do that I'm not able to do is that you can do it musically. Whereas like for my stuff that I do, like I literally write like phrases and like scenes, or like yeah, just phrases that kind of have like a very specific means of storytelling. So let me see. This is going to be loud. Oh, no, it's not going to be loud because I've got it turned down. But hold on one second. Haunted, the Oracle. Okay, so let me just play a little snippet of this and you'll see what I'm talking about. Play it loud, make my ears bleed. Maybe not too loud. But just like putting stuff together like this is really fun. So, you know, really it's kind of, how do I say, it's kind of nonsensical in a lot of ways, but that was far too mainstream and poppy for me. Yeah, thank you. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Hey, Fritz. So, yeah, and I kind of just made like a four track little thing. I wouldn't even call it an EP, but yeah, it's out of time. So everything is, see, now I want to see the projects to your songs. Everything, like the last 10 tracks that I've made have all been on stream. So that's why I try to encourage people to become members, because not only is it there, but it's also like how it's made is on stream. You just have to go dig for it. But everything that I just, yeah, even for this stream in particular, right? So like I'm kind of going through the means of like putting stuff together and stuff. But on one end, it's hard because some people want this like 5-minute instant gratification, you know, video, and then some people are like, I want, you know, the 4-hour, you know, full blown, you know, how it was made from beginning to end and this and that. So it's kind of hard playing between all those things to cater to. But to be honest, everything that you want to know that I did within that there's a tutorial on it. So like all of the bass stuff. What is this? Oh. So all of the bass stuff that, you know, that I do regarding this stuff, not only are there a bunch of these patches and stuff for the higher member tiers and all that I just give you the patches, or there's stuff for sale, but I actually teach you how to make this. It's all there. It's just a matter of like, how much patience do you have? Oh no, I gotta bounce out. Good to finally catch on the stream yours, dude. Yo, thanks, Mr. Sketty. Good to see you. Everyone, please go follow Mr. Sketty on Twitch. Like I said, he's a really good person, and I like good people. So, but yeah, that's, you know, it's like everything that you want to know. There are tutorials on how to do this stuff. You just got to go watch them. You too, man. And you got to go like the video, and you got to go comment on them for me so I can keep making stuff like this. And if you do, then I will feel extra special and I will love you very much. Yes, you can buy my love. Actually, you don't even have to do that. Just go interact with my content and get me into the algorithm. I'd really love it. Sorry, that's some ego flexing. I mean, the truth is that, to be honest, like, I make really fucking weird shit, and it's not for anybody. It's not for everybody. So, you know, if you're here and you're interested in what I'm doing, what I should be saying is thank you for being here. So that's what I really meant to get at. Okay, come on, trackpad. You gotta help me out here. What's going on with you? Chords. The kind that you don't want to be involved. Okay, so that would be a good time to start to introduce like some of this texture. So maybe what I'll do is try to create some kind of tension or something with this. Okay. That worked out really well. And I guess if I want to continue this from here, like I can start to get into thinking about how I can start to implement some of this bass stuff. Sorry. This one's cool. Actually, if anybody here owns Faceplant, this preset is actually one of the released presets that's in the content. It's a factory preset that Kilohearts was kind enough to include. It's called Steel Phantoms, and you just have to download the anniversary pack called Gratis. It's like their 2-year pack or whatever, and they put a couple of my patches up with one of these being included, which is pretty sick. So if you want this patch, it's already in your factory library. Man, some of these sounds are cool. I'm not yet owning Faceplant, but thinking of getting it. Honestly, man, like I don't know how well or how familiar you are with Faceplant, but this patch is just Faceplant. There's no other processing outside of it. And this is the only synth that can do this stuff. So if you like making these kinds of sounds, I've got tutorials on it, but they're also available to you. But for bass, Faceplant, fucking fight me. You will lose. But Faceplant, man, there's nothing as far as like a single entity that can make like neurobass. Faceplant is the synth for neurobass and glitch and generators and stuff. It's so cool. And I don't like mean that, well, I do mean that passionately, but it's more of just like factual, because there's just I don't know, if you guys have something else that can compete with Faceplant, then please feel free to let me know. I watched you doing sound design with Faceplant quite a lot, so it's very interesting. Yeah, it's just like, I think it's just the overall interface from it, from like, for one, the ability to have pretty much, I'm getting your point, I think. But yeah, the ability to have pretty much virtually infinite generators and then infinite effects, like to the point is like, as long as your computer can handle it, and then the ability to modulate everything within a single interface, like it just, there's nothing, like I guess Bitwig would be the next best thing. But even still, as far as like sound design goes, the thing about this is that I think that the racks are easier to create as far as from a sound design perspective, because this is more lane based and vertical, as opposed to everything goes to the side. So like, because everything is in like one lane to the side within the device menu, you can't display, I think that's the keyword, is like you can't display multiple things. That should be something that we should pitch to Bitwig. Let me write that down as a future request, because if that were the case, where like you can have all lanes and like kind of like collapsed devices where you can see everything in a modular way, I think that would actually be like a natural evolution to something that would actually make Bitwig like a really fucking amazing thing. Horizontal collapsible devices, that would be fucking amazing. But yeah, because that's the interface in Faceplant, and because you can kind of just do like a drag and drop thing to this way, it's just way faster to work with. But yeah, so there's that, and then just like the sheer amount of variation between sounds, like how you can stack effects so quickly and then get them to interact with each other that, like, yeah, well, you can use the mixer view, right? So you can see each plugin using kind of the same. Well, like sort of, but like, okay, so, and you do bring up a good point, but it's still not quite the same. Let me see if I've got anything on here that has a few effects on it. Hold on one sec. Okay, so we'll activate this one and we'll pull this one out. Okay, so for one, within the device menu, you can collapse effects, but everything is on a single parallel chain, or like you can only see one lane, or like, yeah, you can only see one horizontal lane at a time. So like, let's say this was grouped, right? And let's say I've got another chain right here. Doesn't really matter. I can only view one of these in particular, as opposed to being able to see like 8. But even if you were to go into the mixer view, while you can see everything in this way, like you can still only open up a single device at a time. So, you know, let's say, and the other thing too is that these are completely different tracks. Yo, I get you. Yeah, and this is just like, I'm just having a good time like talking about things theoretical. It's not that I'm necessarily trying to convince you on things. It's more of just like speaking about the comparisons and stuff about like, I'm like, why? Because like they're critical questions even for me about like whenever I like stuff, I usually like to know the reason why, as opposed to just being like, I like this and it's the best ever because I think so. It's more of like, well, what makes it so good? What makes it differentiate between some of these? So yeah, I think that in some cases, yeah, you're absolutely right, and that is kind of cool that you can kind of do things in this way. But because these are different, like if it was one track and you can kind of have these different like things like that, which actually that could be a great fucking interface update too, right? Of maybe like device I don't know, device layout or some kind of view like that. That's like a completely new thing. That could be really freaking cool. And it's something that when I'm done streaming, that I'm going to try to talk about with the Bitwig community as well, about being like, hey, like this could actually be a really cool idea. Or, you know, there's a page that we can steal from what Faceplant is doing in order to kind of throw that within Bitwig too, as far as sound design perspective, because, you know, I guess you could argue that like the grid exists, right? But the problem with the grid is that like it's kind of limited to just the modules that come with it. But if you have this kind of interface that's designed in that way, in essence, you have the ability to create multipass, but out of third-party VSTs. So that might actually be a video that I might make about creating that kind of parallel between that, or seeing like, you know, and I think that if anybody would do it, it would be Bitwig, because they're so like forward thinking on this stuff within that anyways, that I think that yeah, I'm gonna talk to my boys about that, but that could be pretty darn cool. So yeah, in any case, regarding Faceplant, it's unique in that way, the workflow interface. And you can technically, like, it's not to say that you can't make these kinds of sounds from other synths. It's just going to take you a lot longer to do it, and you're going to have to go outside of the box in order to make this stuff. But the routing options, and then like again just the effect interaction. Do you mean updating the interface of the multi-band containers in Bitwig? Yes and no. Also, hi LA. Thanks for your explanation. Yeah, for sure. That was really cool to just talk about. So I'm actually thinking about updating the device display, because as we were just talking, like right now, like, okay, so in technical terms, like the way that multipass works, Bitwig can do, but you don't have the visualization aspect of it, right? So if you were to group this, and let's say you've got a secondary chain, like you can work in signal splitting, but the problem is that you can only view one lane at a time. So what if you were able to collapse this to where instead of working vertically, you work horizontally, but you collapse a device both this way and this way, so that way you can see the multiple lanes, and you actually start to create kind of like a matrix looking chain that's like a grid system within those effects. But it would be horizontal because of the way, obviously, like the interface that works. Actually, a great like way to exemplify that would be in Rage, and then we're gonna have to use our imagination a little bit, but okay, so like you can see here that we've got our grid system, right? But everything works in like a horizontal way. So everything goes down. But if we had this in some way or another and it worked sideways, like the parallel chain goes this way, right? Make sure that that's going the correct way. But yeah, the chain goes this way, so where like you can both expand and collapse, then that would essentially kind of bridge the gap between what we do in multipass and what we would be doing in Bitwig, right? Because theoretically, as I was saying before, I don't know when or how long you got here, but oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. But theoretically, like an expanded view of the multiband container, maybe they could just make a full screen version. Yeah, that could work too, a full screen version, or maybe like you know how they have a pop-up window in Sampler? So something like that, you know, where they have like an extra thing. But I think that like instead of just conforming it to like one specific device of having to put it in the container, I think that they should do it within all of their devices instead. And the reason why is because as cool as the multiband effects is, you've only got 3 lanes, right? So you can only do up to 3 lanes at a time. But the thing with containers or with layers is that you can have as many layers as you want. So that's why I think that it shouldn't be exclusive to just the effect splitters, because you might want to do something like this. But if you had a way that, like, let's say that you can have all these lanes kind of split, and let's say whenever you create an effect layer, it will create a grid system, so that way you can kind of see whatever it is that you're doing. I think that would be really cool. And I don't know how to mention that, but yeah, I think that would be fucking awesome. Anyway, I wrote it down, so I'll be bringing that up to Bitwig the next time I get the chance. But I think that's a really fun idea to kind of to play and think about. Okay, so I am going to modify this just a tad. Not anything crazy, but I'm going to put a pitch bend on this, so that way no matter what it does, it's going to kind of have some kind of impact. If they added all the stock effects as loadable modules in the grid plus third-party effects in the grid, that would be crazy. Do you think that would be easier to do than... Because I don't know, like... I feel like they would have to go into some kind of like coding aspect, right? So they would have to be able to have access to the script of figuring out where the input chain is of the specific effect, or like the specific third-party thing, also having access to the output, which I don't know how difficult that would be to do. I mean, it would be crazy by all means, and I think that's what a lot of people are hoping for at some point, which I think that there are a couple workarounds to how you can actually send audio into that. Yeah, you can use the audio in, so like, you know what I mean, you can technically cheat that, but as far as being able to just like do like a patcher version, I wonder how difficult that would be. Imagine if you could put on a helmet and make music using only your freaking brain. I know how to solve that. Well, I definitely know that's a feature that a lot of people want, so I don't know if they'll ever add that, just because I don't know, like, I'm a sound designer. You know what I mean? I'm not a programmer. I make the sound go. I don't like look behind the scenes and be like, well, the algorithm says this. There is a little bit of that, but most of the time it doesn't get quite as intricate. But yeah, it just depends on what you're interested in that matter. But yeah, I definitely think that would be cool. Just make a new container for the grid that has an input and output that can hold other devices / effects in it. That's actually really smart. I think that could actually be useful for a lot of use cases. But yeah, that would be, if that were possible, if you could just take like effect splitter or device container and then place things into there, that would be, yeah, I don't see why not. So that way, like, you actually host the plugin inception module. Yeah, you just host the plugin inside of the container, and that way it's got its own input output. But I mean, in theory, like, it does seem like it would be easier, but don't you still have to be able to like have access to the, well, I guess you already have access to that because that's how you control that within Bitwig. So yeah, I agree. I think that would be a really easy fix. You and I should work for Bitwig. I think like one thing that I would love to play with is you guys know that device that aeonnhp developed? That's why I was like, oh well, it's already that. But you guys know that plugin or that device that aeonnhp developed with her hands, where she could, like, you know, make movement and stuff like that. I think that's the closest thing that you could do with your brain. But I think that, like, we should work for them. Yeah, I'd love to. I would love to work for Kilohearts or for Bitwig, just because at least right now they're some of the most forward-thinking people or groups within music, and I think that they have already changed. Like, okay, I don't think that the world has caught up to it yet, but with the way that they're thinking about approaching music, it's going to be something that is going to, like, you know what I mean, like the popularity of it, or like the wokeness of it, I guess would be the way to say that, is it's only a matter of time. It is only a matter of time. And that's not to say that other companies aren't doing cool stuff as well, but as far as innovation, I can't think of anything else that's like, whoa, they changed the game. I feel like that hasn't happened since Serum came out. Like, I think Massive was a huge game changer. And then Serum came out with the ability to kind of like import your own wavetables. And I think that Ableton actually was like a huge pioneer for that, right? Of being able to kind of like do the horizontal workflow that both Ableton and Bitwig have now, of like unlimited effects and then like grouping and then grouping within grouping, which I don't know if Ableton was the first to do that in particular, but that really that eliminated the need for busing. So like the sound design capabilities and all that stuff kind of became a lot easier to work with. But yeah, I don't know. Have you guys found anything or any kind of software or plugins or whatever that has any kind of multitude of like innovation? Ableton was the first. Yeah, and then the people that made Ableton made Bitwig, and it's like, okay, so I have to make this comment, and I don't want to give this person too much power or attention, but they made a comment on the Ableton versus Bitwig video that I did, and they were like, honestly, hold on, yeah, we got to talk about this, whatever. It's a public comment, so I can do this. I'm not going to call the person out directly, but they had the audacity to say something like this, and I just have to say that it was pretty funny. I'm not hating on this person by any means. But it was pretty hilarious. Please do not flame this person or go respond to them in that way. That's not what we're looking for. But that's not what I'm looking for or what I want you guys to do. But where is this? God, it was so funny. Okay, here it is. Stock loops like the one in Logic Pro that Rihanna used in Umbrella, Billie Eilish, and a suite of other artists as well. I was just making a point. This is the comment. I was just making a point that no real Billboard topping producers use Bitwig, just a bunch of unknown European electric weirdos. There, I said it. Okay. I think that this person in general just probably is like new to music and like doesn't know the history of Ableton and Bitwig in the first place. But like, who do you think made Ableton? The same people. What are you talking about? Unify from Plugin Guru has some features others do not and is breaking some new ground. Hi, Michael. I kind of want to take a look at that. I'll take a break from what I'm doing. Wilo. Who's that? It's fine. No, it's not even about groundbreaking things or whatever like that. But like, for one, I think that like, if you're coming into, he's a big hip hop producer. I think that like, if you're coming into the mindset of, I don't want to use this program because nobody I know that is topping billboards because of the DAW is not the right way to look about it. But also their argument was that Ableton has more professional sounding loops. And I'm like, you're going to buy a DAW for loops? What are you doing? But I really like, okay, so that was just like a point to be like, the world's not ready. The world is not ready. Unify VST. Okay, well, what does it do? What does it look like? That's a mindset that will get them nowhere. Has an internal grid, unique patches using your VST library. Oh, is this this is the modular VST that that you can use third-party VSTs and stuff with, right? If I'm not mistaken, I have heard of this. I always say, like, I haven't heard of this, and then I look at it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, and then it looks like it's got some of its own effects built in. But I kind of just, like, contents? I kind of want to see what it looks like. I don't really want to watch the video, but I just want to see any pictures or something that it might have. So I want to see them make an effects version. Right now it's just for instruments. Oh, okay. I thought, if anything, I feel like effects would be easier to use. Hey, look. That's not me. But that is cool. Unify Standard Edition. I don't care what I use. It's about the best workflow, UI experience, and results. Yeah. Hi, Greg. And that's really like what it should be about, right? Allows easy give load to multiple layers. Check it out as time allows. Yeah, I feel like it. I guess I would also have to take a look at the effects that are also incorporated with it, because that's I'm kind of being like, well, what would be the point if it's modular but it doesn't have effects built into it? What would be the point of it just as a layering tool? Because if anything, I think that, well, hold on. If you're not using Bitwig or Ableton, then I think that would be really useful to create like an instrument layer, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but FL only supports like FL doesn't have MIDI through, right? So like with the patcher, you can only use that with effects. Maybe, correct me if I'm wrong. Please don't burn my channel down for potentially making a misfire. I don't use FL, but it has effects, audio, and MIDI. Yeah, but its sole purpose is meant for instrument layering, right? But the effects that it has are only effects that are from the Unify plugin, as opposed to being able to incorporate third-party plugins. For me personally, the argument that I always make with sound design is that it's not like, a lot of people disagree with me on this, but I'm the person that would argue that it's way more important in sound design to like have a wide array of effects than like having like a synth. And I think that part of it, even for Faceplant, like what makes Faceplant so amazing is really, at the end of the day, the effects. I think you could load third-party effects in Unify. Oh, I thought you guys were just saying that it's only for. I want to see them make an effects version. Right now, it's just for instruments. I'm confused. What? Yes, you can use some third party. What? Okay, so Fritz, you can use you can do instrument layers that have MIDI through in FL. Instruments and effects. So why would you need an effects version? That's where I got confused, because I thought Winter was saying that it's just for instruments. You can chain effects into layers. No, it not only loads on instrument tracks, but you can load third-party effects into it. So why would you want just like an exclusive effects version then? Why not just use that as an effect itself? Or do you have to have an instrument on that? You can do MIDI, audio, automation, information, and pattern. But my question is, can you put multiple synths within Patcher? Not just MIDI. Like, can you have, like 3 instances of Faceplant? Sorry, just speaking to Unify. Yeah, there's multiple conversations going on. It's okay. I'm doing my best to keep up myself. So the question to Winter and Michael would be, why would you need just a straight up effects version? And then to Fritz, can you do instrument layers? And Bitwig, I think it wouldn't need an effects version, but any other DAW that doesn't have MIDI through would need another version. Okay, that's fair. And that's kind of why I was bringing up Patcher. But even still, right, for something that's not Ableton or Bitwig, or maybe FL, depending on what, I've been trying to make all of my synths in Patcher so I can save like okay, yeah, cool. Okay, so Ableton, Bitwig, and FL can all do it. I don't know about the other things, but I think that if you're using a DAW that doesn't have like instrument stacking on a single track, then that would probably be what that's aiming to solve. To load on audio tracks. Well, theoretically, like if you use Unify on something that doesn't have MIDI through and it's just effects, like that shouldn't, like that's just audio input, right? So maybe you can't use the MIDI effects, but if you can use the audio effects, then that would still kind of solve the same kind of like problems, right? I'm going to listen to this again and make sure that I still like it. Yeah, I just still like it. I almost feel like this should be twice as long though. And I'm gonna drag this out to here instead. And let's duplicate. And then I think that between some intricacies here, I'll probably just try to one-up this. How do you get the I/O to show up on the track headers like that? It's over here to the left. There's a little thing at the bottom, or at the mid left. That's the in-out display. Oh, nice. You never knew that? It's okay, it happens. I think that I kind of want a cello right there too. Wait, what is this? Okay, maybe. That's weird that other stuff.
Soul Seal!
Yo, thank you. Somebody just subscribed. Once it pops up in the chat, I will be sure to thank you. I appreciate the sub. Yo, Co Malreg, thank you. Thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, access to the VODs will be useful to you. Will this be available to watch after? Just arrived not long ago. So I make the VODs available to members, but I am going to be working on a tutorial version of this that will be like abridged, if that makes sense. But usually whenever I do production, I save that for the members just because, for one, it's a very like personal thing for me making music. I'm not saying that I'm an amazing producer or anything, but it is like a personal expression thing. But two, it's just it's how I make money on the channel. But I mean, it's $2 a month and you get access to all my VODs. So that's kind of how that's one way that I run things on there. I will say though that you can go back right now and like go and watch, you know, a bunch of other stuff if you want, or watch a lot of the other things. Wait, sorry, let me reset. I'm crazy at the moment, but you can go back and watch the earlier VOD right now since I'm still live. We got another one. Awesome. You are an amazing producer. Avin, that's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. But I'm just a dude that likes to make sounds. But yeah, the purpose of this video is, your video has improved my synth level. Thank you for always. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. But I will say that I am going to be working on like a 5 to 10 minute like tutorial version on this of like, here's a outline of all the main concept, and then for the people that want to watch like the whole thing or like the whole chat or the whole stream, then that's available to them. So yeah, that's it's hard. Like I really asking for money as a YouTube person and a producer is not very natural, but it's kind of come to the point where to try to build stability and stuff, it's like yeah, I don't know, maybe if I was like 16 or something, then I could just keep doing it for free, but we're all people and have lives and stuff. That's what I'm looking for right there. You are an amazing dude who makes sounds. Thanks, man. I had the most money in my life when I was 16. Okay, so I need to figure out some kind of like slower timing of that because I really like that motif, but maybe I can set this to like a really slow legato too. Or maybe what I can even do is just like record that out and then kind of stretch that out by quite a bit. But tutorial would be great. Yeah, it's I'm trying to cater to like every, I guess, like audience that I have, but I want to say that the majority of viewers that I have, like looking at my analytics, most people don't watch past 5 minutes of my tutorials, and I'm not offended by it, but I feel like there's so much that they're not getting from my stuff that like there's a lot of detail that I elaborate on, and I think that it's really easy to miss some of the most important things just by skimming through the video, you know. But I also have to try to keep people engaged in a sense that like it could be the most important thing in the world, but if it's not interesting, then it kind of loses its merit, right? So trying to like be concise and be interesting and be entertaining and all that stuff, but also like be informative is kind of that's kind of where we're at. So I will say, since you're here, I'm not in the tutorial. I'm not going to have any sound design whatsoever. So if you have any sound design questions, that's why it's cool to be here during the stream. You should try talking in your movie trailer voice for most of the video. In a world full of beat block, one man has the courage to break your blockage. And I'm not talking about laxatives. No, but yeah, if you have any questions, then now would be the time to ask, because I will always take the time to answer your questions if you have any. But for the sake of the tutorial, it's going to be more focused on like, here's the concept, because that's what people are looking for anyways. So like, here's how you go from something simple to making it more elaborate. And I think that like the end result is kind of just what people are wanting to do. My messages aren't sending. Sorry, Fritz. What's up with that? Send them again. But I did the entire, everything that is on screen today, I did at the beginning of the stream. So like I always start a project from scratch. So yeah, I don't know how to be easier than that. Okay, so I think that I wanted this to be like straight up legato. If that's on here, I think it is somewhere. I don't know what these words mean. I know some of these words. Do I use the operator much? Honestly, just for exponential rhythms. That's like the only thing that I really kind of go and do. I do remember that you gave me the advice on like if something is looping, then you can set the operators to go, but I find that like there's certain things that I leave to chance, and there's certain things that I like doing. What the fuck? I don't know, Fritz. Are you saying something maybe specifically like where like YouTube is like blocking it out? Because I heard that happens sometimes, but I will say that at least in one or two places here that I'll just like click on this and throw on an exponential rhythm or something like that. But other than that, I don't really do much else with it. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't really cater towards the way that I like to work. I'm so like, I don't know. Maybe I should. Big PP presets? What? I mean, I know you're talking about faceplant, but what is that? What is the context of that? I think that like I think part of the reason why I don't like using it is because I give up on what I'm trying to do. Dude, I cannot. Send me a message on, if you're trying to like to ask me something, then send me a message on Discord and I'll look at it, okay? I don't know, it's not me. I'm not ignoring you. But I think that like the way that I prefer to work is like this on the timeline. Like I like to use the chance function on click generator mode instead of totally random looping mode. Yeah, and so like I was gonna say that I was trying to think about why trying to tell the new member something. Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, Ko Malric, if you can join the Discord and link your YouTube account, because that will give you access to all of the rewards that are in my Discord. Big PP presets. So I've got a bunch of content here that's available to all the top tier members, and then I've got quite a bit of content as well for all the mid tier members. So come in here, and then if you link your Discord to if you link your YouTube account to your Discord, it will give you automatic access to this. So this is like how I pretty much do like Patreon, and I like this better because if people want to chat on here, or if they want a way to directly message me, like it's all kind of consolidated. Whereas Hi Chips Bags or Society Representation, it's a pretty funny name, but this is way more efficient than doing Patreon. And that was one of the biggest issues that I had with Patreon, was that it was so hard to get into contact with people, because Patreon by nature is not like a social site. It's where you can come to view content, but it's not really easy to kind of have like community interaction. And then Patreon also started taxing people, or taxing patrons. And my issue with that was that they expected the creators to tell their patrons, as opposed to Patreon sending an email. They were like, oh, we think it's best if you tell them. I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell them. Like, you tell them, because you're charging more money. Why is that my responsibility? So that's why I quit Patreon, and that was like 2 years ago. But what can you say? So yeah, sorry. Regarding the other question, the reason why I don't use operators so much is because I like working on the timeline, and even though it's really cool that you can come in here and do like micro edits and glitching and stuff in that aspect, I'm worried that I'm going to catch something and then not have it anymore. And I don't know why I don't have that issue with like creating generators and stuff, but I don't know. It's just hard to explain. Hey Ocelot, how's it going? Welcome to the stream. It's early stream today. My power is going to shut off in about an hour and a half. So if I'm in the midst of streaming, because I'm going to be working on this for a bit, but if I'm in the midst of streaming and stream quits, if I get effed, it's because they're getting ready to start working on a pole on the opposite side. I'm going to lose power for like 4 hours. So that's why I wanted to stream earlier today. I'm using random trigger. Will it be turned back on? Yeah, it will, but they're going to be working on power over there. Yeah, I just got Polarity's ambient tools preset, and he says it's $5, but Patreon charged $5.50. Yeah, and that's like, you know what I mean? And that looks bad. Like, that looks bad on Polarity, but it's not Polarity's fault. That's Patreon's fault for not informing, their consumers or their clients, or however you want to describe that Like there's an issue of transparency with that business mindset. I've been using random trigger MIDI notes within chords to generate somewhat random sweeping pads. I capture multiple passes with multiple VSTs and layer them in other projects. Yeah, I think like that's a really good workflow, and I kind of have my own way about how I do that, if that makes sense. But I'm just so comfortable, and like I have a preference with that really the biggest reason why I don't use the operators is because a lot of times it doesn't cater to my workflow. But a lot of ways that I come up with kind of like excuse my language, but anti-tonal things is like I'll write a piano riff. So something kind of, we'll just use this one. Right. But what I'll end up doing a lot of times is like I'll let multipass or something kind of do the randomization. Hey Praveen, hey, how will you go about adding some classical Hindustani vocals into an ambient track? Well, I'm probably not going to, but if I would, then I would use it as a texture, probably with really slow attack and a lot of reverb. But I'm not really, I almost never use vocals. The only vocals that I think that I ever use anymore are my own, and they're really just like breath or like, you know, moans or something. But you know, stuff like that, of just using like these multi-pass racks where I can just turn the mix on, is a lot easier for me than trying to set up an operator. And then if I'm going to like try to find like musical riffs, then I find myself using the arpeggiator instead, just because again I've already gone through the time of setting up racks and stuff, which like I guess the amount of time and effort that you would have to go into to doing that would be kind of similar, I guess. But I just have presets set up that rando arpo, right? So I can do that with. Oh, and then also, what's it called? Portal is really good for that too. So let's say, hold on, let me just show this really quick. But this is a good topic, and I think that for me, like I don't really do a whole lot of musical stuff anymore. Musical as in like melody related. Multi-sample instruments and sampler. I'm loving how easy it is. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I do that. I think most of the time I just throw multiple samples in the same one, but yeah, I think that's still a good practice to do. Sorry, my mind is in a million places right now. So yeah, let's say like let's just make a chord. Let's make an edgy chord. Holy shit, sorry. Okay, so once you have something kind of like that, -7, 12, I don't know. I kind of just let this kind of run its course. There's something on my leg. Ah. That was creepy as fuck. Yeah, so then like a lot of times what I'll do is create like an effect selector like this, and then throw this in here kind of like that. But I think I've already got one. Yeah, so I've already got one. But if you look right here, then this is a randomizer that will just pick between these. And so now within the same kind of like chord or whatever, you'll see that it will just bounce between all of these different ones. Oh, I forgot, but like one caveat to that is you have to make the MIDI retrigger, and that's kind of annoying. That's one thing that I don't like about this in particular, is that if you've got like a really long chord, then you have to make the MIDI retrigger in order for it to pick up on it. But this still seems like it's yeah, there we go. So in between all of these, then you can kind of set this in this way and set these to like random other, but you can kind of just come in here and change all of these too. And sometimes that's really fun to do. So you can kind of set like different things. I typically go for like, I almost never deviate from sevenths and octaves in arpeggiators, just because it keeps everything in key. But something kind of like this can usually be really fun. So let me just put just a touch of work into this. But okay, yeah, cool. So now that that's kind of there, this should sound dramatically different. Hold on one sec. And then maybe we'll make this reset every bar. So okay, so this isn't changing because of that. So you have to set that to 100%, and now that will kind of switch that up. Maybe. There we go. So yeah, I mean, it does take a little bit of work and stuff, but I guess it's kind of like the same premise as operators, right? Because if you were to kind of come in here and kind of do the same thing with chants and kind of set these to like, hold on, let me turn this off for a sec. Turn that off. Right, it's just the chord itself, but you can kind of set the chants here. No, that's velocity, my bad. There it is. But yeah, you can kind of play with the chants and do different stuff like that, and then come in and click on this and click random seed, so that way it's always going to be, I guess, random in that way to see kind of what happens. But that's kind of like, it's kind of similar, right? And then you can kind of set this to like, oh, it's always on the first one, and then you can make that like every 8th bar or so. So I don't really know what would be faster or more chances that note with level of operator. Right, yeah, and I know that it won't transpose, but what I'm saying is just creating variation with just a single chord is what I'm getting at. And I know that like with the arpeggiator, we're mostly dealing with pitch, which you can also deal with chance too by having the stop thing. So that's one thing that I really like about Bitwig's arpeggiator is that you can randomize the step skip. So that way, you know, that's pretty much the same thing as whether or not you're going to chance it, because you just throw a randomizer on there. But you've got these like different chords and stuff, and so if you've got a chord progression, which you have to have a chord progression in order to kind of make the most or to get something similar out of that, but just as far as creating variation between having a chord and making the voicing do different stuff, like you can do it this way, but I just don't like spending that much time in MIDI for chords in that way. It's not my favorite to do, and I don't think that it's a bad way. Like by all means, I don't think that it's a bad way to work, and I don't think that like it's not. I don't think that it's not worth it. But for me personally, I don't even make music like that. You know what I mean? Like I don't even make music like that, even though it's glitchy or something. What I personally would do. Yeah, so I've got a video on this, but what I would do instead, I like your arpeg stat, gonna try it. Thanks. Yeah, should fun stuff. So hold on, one thing that I would do instead is let's say you've got the arpeggiator stack, right? Is I would set a resampling channel like this. Sorry, I'm thinking. Make sure that takes aren't turned on. As far as I know, you can't have two notes in the same place. The quick way would be duplicating the track and making variations in the second track. Wait, what do you mean you can't have two notes in the same place? You mean in order for the chance to actually work? What? Sorry, I'm confused. So yeah, is set a resampling channel like this and then record, and then just do this like 5 times and then actually throw this into a granular synth. So one other thing that I'm going to do as well, just to have some fun, is use Portal, because Portal can actually be a really awesome tool for this. Oh, MIDI notes on the same note can't overlap. Yeah, so as far as chance goes, you can't stack them. I get that. Is to set this to retrigger like every 8th note or so, and then set the count to 1, and then change the pitch like this much, and then set this to octaves and randomize the density of it. So like start with a slow density, maybe change the size just a bit, but take a listen to this. So this is also creating variation out of this, and the reason why I like doing this sometimes too is that like even let's just say like you don't have the note selector on and you only have one note like this will create arpeggiators for you. Thanks, Hudson Lee, appreciate you showing me this. The volume has kind of suffered a bit, but come back into here and throw a delay on this, then maybe set this to pentatonic minor. Then you can still get like some interesting stuff out of this, right? Okay, let me set this at a higher octave. But anyways, from getting stuff like this, like once you have something like that, you can throw that into the granular synth and then get some really cool shit. But let me go back to this idea and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so okay, so now that you've got something like that, then what you do is you take this idea and you throw this into an instrument rack. Or sorry, you throw this into a sampler like this. Oh shit, I wanted the long stuff. Sorry, sometimes I get lost in just listening to that stuff because I enjoy it and I'm just like, oh, this is really pleasant. So forgive me for that. But what you can do from here though is now that you have something like this, you set the root note here to F1. Oh, I think it was F2. And you come into here and you set these modulators up to be at a particular tempo that, or like at a specific time that's going to be synced, and that's kind of important. But you set these randomizers like this that is going to be on both texture mode, and it's going to be through here every quarter note per se. And then what you can also do is set this to come in here and set that to the grain. And so now whenever you play something like this, you pretty much play a melody or something in the same way. And this is where comping can actually come to life, because oh, that's not what I wanted to do. This is what I want to do. Because what you're going to find is that if you set like a normal melody now, so again, I'll probably play like, or keep it to like pentatonic minor or something, but let's say you go like this. You know, just something kind of easy like that. going to turn this up because it's kind of hard to hear. But now that you've got something like this, you can kind of just let this play. And like, let's say like that's too wide, right? So let's say like the chords and stuff that were in there are too sporadic, then you can kind of just hone in on a specific place like this, and then that will kind of like mitigate how much of a difference that you have here. But the reason why this works so well is that you've got MIDI that's actually playing, assuming that you set the root note correctly, but you're going to kind of hop in between these different things. So then you just start letting the takes go. So that's a little bit more controllable. But again, I like doing it this way because I'm getting small variations between the melody, but you can still see that it kind of has that home of na 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 na, and it deviates from that, but that's good because that helps create like glitchy rhythms and stuff. That's kind of the whole point. But having like a main melody line like that, and then having it actually jump back between like samples and stuff that work really well, can sometimes create like really cool stuff. And then again, like all you have to do is give it, you know, some kind of life with either reverb or delay, or keep it normal and just saturated or something. But it makes it a lot more interesting whenever you have something kind of like that. Like you can even do an octave with this or something, so that way but yeah, that's like a very like Eccles-esque way of throwing MIDI together. And sometimes, you know, sometimes there's a matter of trial and error to it, but I've got a video on this already. It's like how to make IDM melodies or something. But back to Matt's thing, I think that you can have two MIDI notes overlapping each other, but that's where fill comes in, right? So like that's where, if you've got an overlapping thing, interesting with the stacked arps, I was trying something similar with randomly selected arpeggiated break slice loops. I think I need to look at operator section as I need a bit of finer control. Would it be finer control though? Maybe, yeah, maybe it would. But yeah, I think that you can have overlapping notes. You just have to turn the fill thing on and then set this one to fill on. And so I think that if nothing plays, or like if there's empty space, then this will fill, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say that's how that works. Feel free to correct me, but that's the way that I've come to understand how that goes. Hey, no lambda, how are you? And I think the fill thing is more catered towards like drums and stuff, but I think that's how you can make that work if you've got chance on both of these. So like if you've got something right here, and then this is set to fill, and then let's say like you've divided this into, I don't know, fucking 16 or something. maybe not. I don't know. But that would be kind of something that I would be considering or looking into. But I think I still don't quite understand how some of the stuff in operators work. We've tried many times, or I've tried many times to kind of wrap my head around it. But yeah, for the most part, just regarding, I know that kind of went like on a super long tangential thing, but that's kind of just the way that I don't know. I like the exponential rhythm thing. That's a great handy tool to just be like, boom, you know, you can just literally turn a knob and then it will do it for you. But other than that, I don't really use operators for that matter. Oh, right. I think I put something on here that I didn't want to. Complete control, soundscape, main. Yeah, I didn't want that on there. Okay, that's just more like micro editing and stuff that I want to get into, but this is pretty much a carbon copy of that, but I think it's more so just like trying to figure out how to use the fill mode that I still don't get. But the pattern thing is cool because that kind of takes away a lot of the legwork, right? Because like you can what's it called? Like let's say you come into this thing right here and then you go here and then you turn on the random seed. Oh, is that only with MIDI? No, it's right there. Yeah, so you turn on something like that, and then you right click, and then you go, what is it? Where's the thing that says that you can copy seed? No, where's the thing that you can like paste the seeds? I don't use fill mode at all. That's the thing that just confuses me. Operator is just something I didn't try. I ended up using some extra MIDI notes and automation. I know there's more elegant way. Yeah, I think that like MIDI is the best use case for that in particular. But where's the no, it's not fold the takes. So where's the thing on here to where maybe it is only in MIDI. Let me see. Let me just do something like this really quick. Okay. And then you click on this. And then you... Why isn't that coming up? Why is... I can't think of a reason why I would copy the seed. Because maybe you want a pattern that, like maybe the seed is a pattern that you really like and you want it to repeat. And that's kind of what I was getting at, which is it. Okay, yeah, I guess you have to go on to track. But if you go on here, there's a way to, let me see here. I might have to highlight the MIDI I think you have to highlight the MIDI in order to get it to do that. No? Wait, maybe 2? Wait, didn't I have another note on here? I thought I did. Nope. Okay. Bounce in place, double in scale. I don't remember how to do this, but there's a way that hide the clip in the main window. Yeah. So there's a way to, I think it's this. Yeah, there's a way to make the patterns of the seeds, no matter how many times you randomize it, and like paste that across. I just don't remember how to do it. Hold on one sec. Now I'm curious. Do you know what I'm talking about? No, I'm talking about something different though. I'm not talking about copy pasting. It's like you can set how many things you want to, you can set how many variations or how many times you want the seed to actually, I would just commit to, no. There's a, hold on. I'm talking about something different though. It's an actual feature that I think that will be super useful. I might pull up my video because I covered it there. I just had, like I said, I forgot how to do it. Hold on one sec though. I'm gonna just do this like super, oh my god. Okay. Jesus, dude. Ah. Fucking yikes. Maybe you actually have to have... Okay, come on. Why is that not on? That doesn't make sense. Okay. Jesus, man. Is it where you tell it how many times to loop? Yeah, I think so. It's something like that. So like I think that you do something like this, and then you set the chance like that, and then you now you go on this, you set that like a particular amount of seeds, and it's the bottom of the operator. No, it's not this. This isn't what I'm talking about. It's like a, hold on one sec. It's like a literal thing that will let you like paste out MIDI, but different seeds each time. It's a right click feature. I don't remember how to make it do the thing. No. Man, how do you get into that? Maybe it's here. Transpose, consolidate. Is there another thing that's what I'm looking for? Slice, scale, double the content, edit. Oh my god, this is driving me crazy. Does nobody know what I'm talking about? Somebody's got to know. Wait, what if undo? What if it's multiple like this? And then you no. Okay, so like you know how you can fold to takes, right? Within comping. Well, in Bitwig, there's a way that you can do the same thing, but you can do it with printing seeds. But it will say like how many times do you want to print the seed? Or like how many times do you want to kind of apply this in one way or another? Like fuck man, it's driving me crazy. I'm not crazy. It's driving me crazy, but I'm not crazy. I swear. Copy seed, random seed. This thing. Yeah, it's fuck man. How do I do this? Anyways, I'll take a look. I'll take a look later, but I'm pretty sure that there's a way that you can like highlight all of these in such a way, or you can kind of like paste how many different random seeds that you want and then take that seed that you have. I know what you're talking about, but can't find it either at the moment. It's on the video that I came out with Bitwig's new features, and I feel kind of silly that I can't remember, but I also don't really use this feature like that. But I do think that's a useful thing. You could do the volume fade on for audio as well as MIDI. What? Are you talking about using the velocity for the operators? Oh no, the audio fade in operators as well as MIDI. Yeah, you can, but it's just easier to do in MIDI. But I do like that you can do that in audio as well, and that can create some cool stuff. But I actually don't like this thing. Oh, I wish. Okay, yeah, that's one thing that I don't like about the velocity thing is that it will go from like it's like a min max value. So like there's not really a reference point from which you can start from. So you have to come in here manually and set your velocity of what you want to do, and then you can kind of go into something like that. But if you turn this up kind of like this, like you can't go from 0 to 50. It's going to go from 45, or it's going to be whatever velocity you have it set at and then increase. So it would be kind of cool if you could come in here and be like 0 to X or whatever velocity that you have. What if you have this set up in this way, and you've got fill on. Is there a right click setting here? Loop selected region, slice in place. Clip. Man, what is this fucking thing? But yeah, it's something to where like if you have this set to random, you can set the velocity from its spot in the inspector, but I get what you mean. Yeah, that's true. But like let's say like you've got a bunch, right? It's just kind of like I don't know. I just want my convenience. But you are right. You can't just come in here and set that. I didn't really think about that, even though it's right here. Fuck, man. Yeah, but it's the same. Basically, what it is it's the same feature as fold to takes, like this. I guess you can't fold to takes on this one. Oh, right, because there's no there's no comping in MIDI. But same thing as folding to takes, like this. But it's the same pop-up menu that you have of doing something like this, right? Of how many takes that you want to have, and then it will do that, but it will have every seed or whatever it is that you want, or every random seed or something that you can print. So like, and I think that it's a way of like recapturing the random. So like, let's say on this in particular, you've got a random seed, but you lost it, or like, there's something with that's kind of in that way. There's a way to kind of do that and then print it to MIDI, or like commit it to MIDI. I just don't remember It says random right there. Yeah. Anyways, that's something that you can kind of figure out on your own. I don't feel like fucking with that anymore. But what I'm going to do is set this up, and we're gonna make some things. Just hit Command J. It's not just, it's not a consolidation thing. It's like a, I don't know. I don't know. It's, yeah. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm going crazy, which is definitely possible. But I'm pretty sure that it's like the comping feature, but with MIDI or with seeds, of like how many times do you want it to commit to it, and like I think that like you can do that with multiple variations and stuff, but yeah, I don't remember. I apologize, guys. Sorry for wasting your time. Scarat. Ha. What's up, Rafe? I can take a look. Hold on one sec, though. There are some cool phrases in here, but I might use a different bass, or I might just do it for the heck of it of using another one. Let me see here. File, export. Oh, you're talking about where this actually exports to? Down to a mix. Okay, let me see. So let's say I wanted to export all of these. Open target folder when done. Let's just do loop region. Okay. And then you make a new folder. So desktop.
Recording to logbook.
Yo, someone just followed. As soon as it pops up in the chat, I'll be sure to thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for subscribing, Greg. I appreciate it. So if I export this, is it just going to be the stems and not actually be a folder? Like, do you have to go to new folder? Yeah, it doesn't do that. Okay. Yeah, so you gotta make a new folder automatically. Yeah, I guess that feature is gone. I don't know. I never really thought about that. But there might be some kind of setting within export options or something of behavior. I want to sub, but Prime Gaming is available in my region. Is not available in your region. I don't know. Don't worry about it, dude. Greg just subscribed to the channel. No, I used to have an option to create a folder named export when I export. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. Device, solo, bounce, no chase. Let me see if there's some kind of export option on here. Quantization, locations, plugins, my controller scripts, audio cache. Cheers, I gotta head out, but lots of interesting stuff. Looks like I need to check back on some of your other content too. Yeah, I would say like just hop into the tutorials. By no means am I trying to sell you on a membership, but I think that everything that you want to know is kind of consolidated into tutorials in the first place. So there's that, but thanks for coming in. I appreciate it. Floating windows, follow current track. Timeline. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into it. But I remember you asking that question a while ago. I just didn't understand what you were talking about at first. Thanks. Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it. But yeah, no worries, dude. Let's try this one. Sorry. I have to search through my own current project folder now every time I bounce a new project down. Why don't you just create a new folder on export? So like, let's say, is there a quick export on this? I guess not, because you don't have to export because it's already there. But let's say I wanted to export this, right? Couldn't you just go here, arrangement, loop region rather, because that would take forever, and then just go into a new folder? Wait, they don't even have that? I guess not. I would still just export it to the desktop. What's up with that? Do they not have a new folder thing? Or is that some kind of weird omission? Shouldn't there be like a new folder button right here? What? I guess you could right click. Maybe? No? Move to trash. Duplicate. Right click. Show in Finder. That is inconvenient. Huh. Bummer. Okay, so what you do is you just print the stems and then you go into your files right here. And then you find your stems and then you just drag it out. That's the way to do it. Not a Mac user, but I think there should be a new folder option. There used to be, is what I'm saying, or I think is what we were both saying, is that there used to be a new a thing. I think that's just something, an oversight from Bitwig, but that is kind of odd. Let's try this one. You start realizing that a lot of these sound the same, huh? Maybe they're just not working as intended. On Windows, you can create a new folder from this export dialog / pop-up. Yeah, I think that there's just some kind of Mac oversight on that. Okay, fuck it. I'm just gonna work with this because that'll be easier. That sounds really cool. Oh, right on. Yikes. Jeez, it's still super prominent. Thanks, EXO. Appreciate it. Ooh, there's a nice moment right there to bring in another neuro bass, because it already kind of sounds like that if you listen to it. So maybe I can put like some kind of growly thing right there. Roar. That's kind of cool. That's neat. I think that it'll be cool to do like another thing right there too of like a doof, doof. And I'll just kind of play along with that of F2. F1. Where is this supposed to be? What? Okay. Yeah. That's kind of cool. And then they're itchy. What's up? Hey Jesney, what's going on? How art thou? Maybe I can accent this to, geez, my fucking trackpad is being hella cantankerous. Same thing here. And then we can turn this section on. Like that. Cut these two. Pitch that. Fade. Pull that in and see how that moment goes together. Yeah. All right. IDM is, it technically stands for intelligent dance music, but it's really just like super glitch music. So I'm gonna head out and do some Bitwig stuff as well. Thanks for the insight, tips, and tricks. Yo, thanks for coming in, Mark. Good to see you. See ya. I heard that left field is a similar description for this music or IDM in general. I know left field as an artist, but what happened to the webcam? Oh, I'm working on it. Sorry. Do you like my face? Hi. Yo. Thank you. Here's the mail, it never fails. It makes me wanna wag my tail and something, 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 something. Mail time.
Why are you standing like that? Is grandma mad?
No, I called her and she actually canceled because Kevin's not feeling well.
Okay, good, because my eyes are fucked up.
this to sound more fucked up. I think the best way to do that is to slice at repeats and grab all of these like so and add thy fade. Okay, that's better.